When we talk about Chinese language, we are seeing Mandarin. It is the official dialect of China, also called Putonghua. Most of Chinese could speak or at least understand it. I would say over 90%. So basically, the words and the phrases you heard or listened, like 你好, 谢谢, 不客气, 再见, those are all Mandarin. But actually, there are so many dialects across China. They are very different. For example, we say 你好, it is a Mandarin, but in Wu Chinese or Shanghainese, it pronounced as 侬好, and in Yue Chinese or Cantonese, it pronounced as 雷好. These are only 3 typical examples. There are hundreds of dialects spoken across China. So here is a clip created by a YouTuber. He was in Yangshuo. It is a tourist area. There are people from all over the China, sightseeing or doing some traveling. So he was asking people to teach him how to say 你吃饭了吗? Which means, have you eaten? In their local dialect. Let's check it out.
What's up guys, Kevin Cook here. And did you know that when Chinese people greet each other, they don't say, how are you? They say, 你吃饭了吗? And asked some people to teach me how to say 你吃饭了吗 using their local dialect from where they're from. I bet it'll be really cool and we'll hear lots of different dialects here.
我来自湖北孝感，你吃饭了吗？在我们那里用你吃饭吗？
吃饭了没？
你吃飯未啊？食飯未啦？食飯未？你食飯未？
你食飯咗未？
你學飯未？
你可吃飯啦？
你吃飯沒有？
吃飯了沒有？
吃個飯了嗎？
你吃飯噻？
吃了嗎？
講聽。
你吃飯了沒？
你吃飯了不？你吃了嗎？
吃飯了嗎？你食飯了嗎？
吃飯了沒得？老椒喂？
你吃飯嗎？
你吃飯沒有？
吃過啦。
你食飯未？你食飯問？
你吃飯？
你食飯未？你食咗飯未啊？
Even though everyone was communicating the same message, the way they delivered it was so completely different. So people living in different places, even we are all in China, we might not be able to understand each other. Each dialect has their own tone systems, different pronunciation structures, grammar, characters, and words. It's kind of like learning language as different as Portuguese, Italian, or Spanish. It's not like English. Different places have their own accent, but you are still going to understand each other. But for the dialect, it's like a totally different language. Interestingly, I found that Cantonese is widely used overseas. For example, yum cha, which means morning tea, or boi choy, chow mein, they are all Cantonese because it remains most of the sound from ancient Chinese. So if you get a good Cantonese vocabulary or Hokkien, you're going to find that in Singapore or Malaysia or Indonesia, most people could speak 2 or more Chinese dialects, Cantonese, Hokkien, or Hakka. But anyway, I really think it is a good idea to use the original pronunciation to say the food names. For example, the Chinese food 包子. If you translate it as steamed bun, of course it's okay. People get the idea what it is. But using 包, the original Chinese pronunciation to indicate the food, it is more precise. For most of the English speakers, tones are a very unique concept. There are 4 basic tones in Mandarin Chinese. This means that it uses a pitch, the highness or lowness of a sound to distinguish word meaning. In English, changes in pitch are used to emphasize or express emotion, not to give a different word meaning to the sound. But in Chinese, intonation indicates meaning. For example, 睡觉. If I'm using the fourth tone, it is 睡觉. That means sleep. But if I change the tone, it becomes 水饺. It's dumplings. Another example is the word 问. If I'm using the fourth tone, it is 问. It means ask. 我可以问你吗 means may I ask you? But if I change the tone to the third, it becomes 吻. Kiss. That becomes 我可以吻你吗 means may I kiss you? So we need to pay attention to them when both listening and speaking. English has gender pronouns, but in Chinese, he, she, it, they are all pronounced the same, 他, although they are different characters. So for non-English speakers, we sometimes cannot use it correctly. I still remember that was 3 years ago when I just started the course. One day I went to a bank to open my account with my classmate Andy. He's from Indonesia. Andy opened his account first, then it was my turn. The bank specialist asked for my information like my visa, address, phone, and study. Andy replied and said, "He's my classmate. We're in the same course." The bank lady looked at me suspiciously and seriously.
What?
Then asked me, "Are you she or he?" She even got close to me and tried to find out the truth. Andy and I laughed to tears. The bank lady may never understand why. In English, verbs have tense. Chinese does not. But we often use specific words to show the tense. For example, if I want to say, I went to the supermarket, instead of changing the verb from go to went, I would still use the same verb, 去, but added a word, 了, to show past tense. So it becomes 我去了超市. That indicates it happened in the past. But if I said 我去超市, it could be a future tense. I'm going to go to the supermarket. There is a book, it said Western communication has what linguists call a transmitter orientation. It is considered the responsibility of the speaker to communicate ideas clearly and unambiguously. Within a Western cultural context, it holds that if there is a confusion, it is a fault of the speaker. But in many Asian countries, it is receiver-oriented. It is up to the listener to make sense of what is being said. I thought it was fascinating. In English, you are expected to make yourself clear as a speaker. But in Chinese, the listener might be expected to do some more work to try and understand you. I don't know if you have the experience. You might be explaining something to someone from China or other Asian countries, and there is a moment of clear acknowledgement of understanding, just a head nod or something. And then you feel that anything you are saying after that point is just unnecessary. There isn't too much explanation that is needed. Another example is about my essay writing. When I was doing my research project, I sent it to my supervisor. After she read it, she told me that it feels like there is a step missing here. You haven't fully explained the relevance of this. I often heard the words vague or unclear from my supervisor. But from my part, I think it is already very clear. And the reader should know exactly what I'm saying. I think the meaning should be guessable, or that is might be so obvious. It's not even worth spelling out. At that time, I only thought the reason is because I'm not good at writing in English. Until I read the article and the idea about the communication difference. I think it is also a part of the culture difference. In Chinese, Any art form must leave some space for readers or receivers to imagine or experience. We say that is something only can be sensed, not explained.